What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome back. It is your boy Blue, fresh off the jet from Flight Sim 2019 to see this. What? 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 What is? Out of nowhere, man. Microsoft Flight Simulator. Out of freaking nowhere. I don't know if anybody was expecting this, but I know I wasn't. I mean, I'm an X-Plane guy. I've been hanging out with P3D people as well. And I don't even think they knew. So I gotta go ahead and admit, I have already seen the trailer. But I want to go through this and really break it down. I want to look at it closely. Let's talk about it. I want to share my thoughts on and questions that I have for you, Microsoft. What is your intentions? I think that's the big question, is what is your intentions? But let's take a look at this thing. Let's go back to the beginning. I mean, wow, this trailer really caught us off guard. Xbox exclusive announced at E3. Wow. I'm going to be stopping it a lot, so if you want to see the full trailer uninterrupted, go check that out. I may post a link in my description if I feel like it, but it's everywhere right now, so go check it out. Look at those clouds, man. That is how clouds should look in a simulator. Those mountains look amazing. I don't know what city that is. If you know what city that is, let me know. I've been trying to figure it out. There's another beautiful scenery with the fog haze on the bottom and a beautiful sunrise. And this shot right here is just freaking, oh my gosh. Like the hangar opening up. You can see the animated cars in the background. You can see there's a guy in the hangar. He's also animated. He's kind of rocking back and forth. He's not doing much, but you know what I mean. He's moving. It's giving you the feeling of being in a living environment, which I like. You want that. Beautiful lighting effects. You can definitely see it's using all the next gen lighting features and rendering engines. I'm curious of what rendering engine it's using, but yeah, this is a TBM looking good. Look at the depth of field. Right now it's focused on the nose. The turbines are winding up, and you can also see like the rear of the aircraft is kind of blurred out, as well as the rest of it. I'm not sure if this is just like a replay feature maybe, or if this is actually how you're able to view the game live. LAX, man. Well, I mean, LAX is no stranger to any of us. This is definitely LAX. I want to point out that is an A320 Neo in a default livery, but also we have other plain white A3 Neos right around it, wondering what aircraft are going to be released, like as far as airliners with this release. But if you look in the background, probably should, instead of pointing, actually use my mouse, right? In the background, you can see, obviously we have the Southern California mountains out there looking beautiful as always. But we also do have a few liveries out here. I'm not sure what liveries they are. Like this one kind of looks like Lufthansa a little bit. This one could be like Virgin. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm not sure. But we do have a few like hints of liveries in the background. I don't see any other aircraft moving in this particular shot. But I did notice, if we rewind the trailers a little bit more, you'll see that we have animated people. Now, I know that P3D has this. X-Plane does not have, well, yeah, sometimes, but not like this. It's definitely, again, it's nice to have some moving people around to add to a little bit more of the visual immersion of the game. You also see some ground traffic, like as far as like baggage carts driving around the airport. And that's kind of a given. You got to have that if you're going to have that in the airport. Curious if the jetways will move in the default version. All right, now we're in the cockpit. This is the first look at an airliner cockpit, and I'm not right now able to zoom in. I believe these gauges are working. I was really like playing this back over and over to see, and you can kind of see that GPS. Or that right there kind of just tick to the left just a tiny bit, so I believe it is animating. But I think a big curiosity is how in depth are they really gonna go with this? Like, is this a game or is this a sim? And I think that's the biggest question for everyone right now, especially all the current flight sim enthusiasts and people who are into this type of game. Are they making this for the majority? Are they making this for the arcade community? You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people out there who just want to hop in a plane, fly around, and do GTA things. You know what I'm talking about? But is this really going to attract the rest of us? Like me, I'm into, like, I love eye candy. This is definitely eye candy. But I also want realism. Like it's got to be a really good balance of realism and eye candy. And this right here is definitely San Francisco. You can see that I don't know the name of this building, but there's the Bay Bridge. There's downtown SFO. You got Dubai. I do see what looks to be Autogen possibly over here. Like, I don't think that is really how the Dubai skyline looks, at least from this view. I could be wrong. I never been there, but just in, you know, the other titles that I've played that have had Dubai, actually you can't even see that because that's behind my camera. So anyways, if you're looking at that clip, look, tell me what you think on that bottom left of the screen, the Dubai shot, if you think that is like actual, like the authentic buildings of Dubai, or is it Autogen? Sunset looked amazing though. Let's not skip over that. That's sunset, the sky effects. I mean, you can see a little bit of shadow on the ground, which you really shouldn't see technically, because if the sun's below the clouds, you shouldn't see clouds shadowing down on the ground. But you do see a nice effect as Gibraltar, not Gibraltar, I'm sorry. Freaking the prison place. I've been there like a billion times. I can't remember it right now. But that is San Francisco. Beautiful orthos out here, mountains. The water looks amazing. Wow, look at that. That is one intimidating sight right there. Can you imagine flying into it? I'm curious if that's just a photo, or how is that moving? Is that living? Is it? I know you're gonna see lightning in it, I'm sure. Like, how was that picture really gonna look? Because again, this is just a trailer. Like, it's just a trailer. They're only gonna show us what they want us to see. This game does not come out until 2020. If you don't know, this game is not supposed to come out until next year, 2020. So it is. No, I'm sure it's not finished, but they have enough to show us here at E3. Let me rewind back to that lightning. Let's see. Let's look at that lightning again. Wow. Pretty cool. So again, it's an A320neo. Now we're back in the what looks to be a TBM. And you have some nice rain effects on the windshield, which is always definitely something you need to add to that visual immersion. As I say again, I'm talking visual immersion right now. We'll talk a little bit more about flight dynamics in a second, but let's talk about visual. Again, looking kind of closer, this is another cockpit view. You can see this plane is supposed to be running the G1000 avionics set, and I'm curious about all of this. Like, I mean, really, there's not really much we can tell right now. As I played, I wish I could play it in slow-mo. I wish I probably could if I opened a different program, but whatever. You can see that the numbers are definitely animating. So like, what I'm trying to say is, like, it's not a static cockpit. You're not going to get in an aircraft and not see any numbers moving, which would be ridiculous. You cannot call that a simulator if you don't have anything working in the cockpit. And that being said, it does have a G1000. What functionality that's going to have, like, how realistic are they going to go? Are they going to take shortcuts? Are they going to take shortcuts? Are they just going to do good enough? Or are they going to really, like, allow this to become a study level sim? All right, got some nice night lighting. Not bad. Not bad. I'm not really sure where they're flying into. It's kind of dark out here. I'm assuming this is LAX. This is definitely LAX. So you can see they have two runways over here. You got two other runways over here, and then you got the ocean, which is all the blackout in the background. That's definitely LA. This is something I am curious about. Let's take a look. Beautiful. Look at that. Wow. Was that flamingos or something? Freaking bush flying. And this is something that, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if P3D has this. I'm not a P3D person, but animated animals, like, X-Plane does have, like, deer and stuff, which is, like, stupid. Like, the way it works is stupid. I think they probably took it off. It's so horrible. But on here, this is pretty darn cool. Like, having birds flying around, having animals and whatnot. That's beautiful. The pyramids, San Francisco, again, with the morning fog. This happens, like, literally every day. So this is a very relevant shot. Okay, so hold on now. Take a close look at that. That's freaking Houston, Texas. That's my hometown. They better get that right. That's the George R. Brown Center right there. The convention center. It says H-Town on the side, representing the Rockets. Houston Rockets. And then we got the Minute Maid, which is where the Astros play. Sorry, it's not Minute Maid anymore. It's called something else. I think they changed the name. I can't remember. But yeah, that is downtown Houston. I can't see the... Oh, wow. Yeah, this building right here, I only noticed because I live there, but it's funny because no other sim has really focused on Houston, so we've never really had good Houston scenery right out of the box, especially. Somebody did make like some Houston downtown scenery for X-Plane, which looks pretty good. I recommend it if you have X-Plane. But yeah, I mean, this building is definitely accurate to Houston right here and where it is as well. So I think anybody who's from Houston or been to Houston will probably appreciate this shot. But my first time watching this, I did not catch that this was Houston. So sorry if you're not from here, but this is my hometown, and it's not like a big popular city, so it's surprising that they would mention that. But it is looks to be 3D modeled. I'm not sure how detailed it is. I can kind of, if you look closer, you can kind of tell that it's kind of a picture on the inside, kind of flat, like it's not completely modeled for the stands, but maybe it doesn't need to be. I don't know. Let's move on. Gorgeous. Seattle. Wow, look at this. I assume this is in Africa, but we had a caravan flying over elephants. Like, that's cool. Like, I look forward to doing stuff like that, like flying around and seeing animals where they're supposed to be, and in their environment, in their regions. Like, that's just cool to me. Like flying, doing like bush flying, or doing or role playing that you are delivering a package or emergency materials to a dirt strip out in Africa somewhere in a caravan, and you see elephants right off the side of the dirt strip. Maybe not right next to it, but you know what I mean, on the way you're seeing it and whatnot. Like, I think that's a pretty cool option. All right, now we're getting to look at formation flying. I'm assuming and hoping that's not like AI, but maybe multiplayer, native multiplayer would be amazing. A couple more shots of that. Another beautiful shot flying through the mountains. Look at those clouds again. Those clouds look great. I'm curious about the actual weather system, how it changes, how it develops, how it affects how it looks. One thing I will point out is, look at this green. Yeah, you can see that. You probably can't see that on screen, but again, I would recommend go back and even dissect this video yourself. But you can kind of see it's very green on this mountain and all the way down to this range, but above it, these mountains behind it are more of like a darker brown color. Now, if you've done Ortho 4XP or orthos in any area, you will notice that a lot of times, like the colors end up different. Even when you're using the same provider, you end up having like a really green or washed out area, and then you have a dark area. So I'm really curious of how they're handling the scenery. Nice. Giraffes. That was a cool runway. I'm not sure what runway that is, but that's a pretty cool runway there. Nice. I've seen the heat blur come off the A320's engines, which is a good sign that you can have a lot of HDR effects, as well as the sun, stuff like that. Fly through the clouds. TBM again, another TBM formation. That looks dope. I'm really curious about this multiplayer. I really am. More TBMs. Wow, that looks... That's crazy. This is a money shot right there. That is cool. Look at the shadowing off of the clouds in the sunset. Then you have a different kind of coloring of the ones that are above, like kind of like above where the sun is setting. Like, it's very well done. Really curious and hoping that it actually looks like this when it ships. Boom, flight simulator. Wow. So I am really curious of what you guys' thoughts are. Are you excited? Are you unimpressed? What do you think? I think the big question for me, honestly, is it a game or is it a sim? Let's talk about. So it comes out 2020. That's the goal. That's what they said. It's going to be available for Xbox One and PC. This is going to be available on console. We haven't really had any real flight simulators on console, so I'm really curious to see how they're gonna make that work. Like, is this a console game, but it has a PC version, so it's optimized for console, which means, I don't know. Is it really gonna be a study level sim? Is it gonna be a full simulator, or is it really made for the arcade people? Like, is it made for kids, basically? You know what I mean? Like, nothing against that, and I think honestly, there's a market for that, but for a lot of us who have been doing flight sim for a long time, and we want that depth in the systems. We want realism, we want realism over visuals even from time to time. Like, what are we gonna get? Is this an arcade or is this a sim? Is this a game or is this a simulator? Seriously. And a big question, big question is third party. So I think for any flight simulator to work, it's going to come down to third party support. Now, Microsoft being Microsoft, and it's coming out on with what they call the Game Pass on Xbox console, it kind of worries me because it got me thinking, like, are they going to keep the DLC to themselves? Like, you can only buy the DLC that they provide, or are they going to allow to open it up and allow support for other third parties to come in and bring in their better planes, their more realistic planes, bring in their sceneries, bring in their plugins, whatever it may be, do your own liveries? Because I mentioned earlier in A320, in this shot right here, I mean, you got A320 Neo. There's no specific liveries here. But again, this game doesn't come out for a whole nother year. Maybe they haven't gotten to that part yet. So maybe we'll get it. But are we going to have to buy new liveries? Is it going to ship with new liveries? Is it going to continue to update with new liveries? Are they going to take on the whole workload themselves, which I think is a huge mistake? I think that any flight sim should find a way to allow the community and allow the third-party add-ons to continue to grow it, just like FSX did. Now, FSX kind of has a bad, or Microsoft kind of has a bad rep because, you know, they built FSX for all these years and then they just dropped it. And then, you know, Prepare 3D popped it up or you know, picked it up, and they've been continuing it, as well as third-party community kept it alive all the way until now. There's still people out there who are flying with FSX. And so is this the next gen of FSX? I've seen the question also, is this going to be backwards compatible? My opinion, I don't think so. There's no way you can take add-ons from a program that's 10 years old and make it work in the current. I don't think that's going to be possible, in my opinion. But who knows? We still don't know much. They really haven't said anything, you know, at all, except for this trailer. We don't have any more information. Another big one is flight dynamics, like flight model. How's it going to fly? Is it going to be, again, is it arcade? Is it going to be realistic? Like, is it, I think it all comes down to, is it made for like the broad audience? Like, are they trying to reach a bunch of people by just making it accessible on console and kind of just halfway doing it? Like, you can basically fly with a Xbox controller, which I believe I assume you can, because it is a console game. Why would you not be able to use an Xbox controller or a joystick or some of the other hardware that we have now? Another thing is we're only seeing small areas, small little cities and whatnot of 3D, like really good looking scenery, right? Like, how are they doing that? It's definitely unrealistic to think that any game developer, no matter how much money they have, even Microsoft, could build like hand-built 3D scenery for the entire world. I mean, these are very noticeable areas: San Francisco, New York, places that are really known. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no way. So how are they doing this? I've kind of looked around on the forums, and one of the things that people have been saying is they could be using Bing Maps and doing 3D scans of the downtown areas, which would basically kind of be the equivalent, the same tools that you'll see when you go to Google Earth and you zoom in, and you can like kind of do the 3D view and zoom to a different perspective and see like actual, like maybe they're doing that same thing. Which, would that be bad or would that be good? Like, how does that look up close? It may look nice when you're flying at 9,000 feet, 3,000 feet or whatnot, but how's that gonna look when you're flying VFR and you want to do some flying down below and whatnot? Like, how is that going to be? But with that said, if they're doing that and including that, if they're doing that as well with the ortho imagery like we're seeing here, with the entire globe hopefully being covered with this ortho imagery, because I would hate to be like, oh yeah, I'm in San Francisco, I got super nice imagery, and then you fly out of San Francisco and then now you got this ugly, FSX looking 3D, not 3D imagery, you know what I mean? Like, unrealistic. Like, you would want it to look like that everywhere. At least that's how they're kind of selling it right now. Like, yeah, we got all this nice scenery, we got 3D objects, look at all this good stuff. So what's up, Microsoft? What you doing? So, but if they are doing a complete world in ortho, that would never work. You would never be able to get that on your system. So the only way I can see that working is if they do a server-based way where you're basically always online. So all that imagery, all that is being hosted on a server somewhere else. You're logging into it, which means you're online, which probably is going to turn into being some type of subscription-based system where you're going to have to pay monthly to play this game. But it is on the Game Pass, which, is something you already do pay monthly on. So maybe that's why they're probably merging those. The Game Pass is something you have to, you get to play all these games if you pay this monthly fee, which is not something I'm really a part of right now. But we'll see how bad I want this and if that's the way they end up doing it. 'Cause I'd rather pay one price for this and have it. So I don't know, really curious of how they're gonna do that. 3D scan buildings, ortho imagery around the world. How's that gonna happen? But I guess the positive with that would be that the program, like the actual program you download, the game, would be a lot smaller, which makes sense of why it would work on console, because again, it's server based. And multiplayer, like how's that gonna work? Like exactly, like I know the old FSX and they had a little bit of multiplayer. How is this gonna work? How is the servers gonna work? Is it going to be an ATC system? Is there going to be a human ATC system where you're actually talking to a real person? Is it going to be text? Like, you know, I'm curious about that. The latency going to be good? I mean, in these shots, they look smooth. But again, this is a trailer. They're not going to show the bad. They're only going to show the good. So, but I'm excited about the thought of being able to fly like that. Like, I think everything they're showing us here is right now, it's like it's eye candy. It's getting us excited. It's making you want. It's like, yeah, I can't wait for this. Like, I honestly can't wait to get my hands on this because I want to know the answers to all of these questions. Like it looks like it could possibly be an amazing game. People are already comparing it to X-Plane 11 P3D just in the visuals, but I think where X-Plane 11 and P3D really excel right now are the fact that they are actual simulators. They're full-fledged simulators, and that is what a lot of people want. The only issue with that is that it's only on PC. Like nobody else has access to it unless you have a PC. And if you want X-Plane 11, you got to have a really good PC. And if you want all the add-ons on both X-Plane 11 and P3D, you got to have a really good PC. So I think it's going to be really good for people who don't have the money to have a PC, but they have an Xbox One and they love flight sim. You know what I mean? Like that. Honestly, that was me before I got into X-Plane 11. I was like, I've always been a big fan of aviation. I've always wanted to do flight simulation and flight simulator, X-Plane, whatever. But I couldn't because I just didn't have the money to get a PC. But I had a PS4. I didn't have an Xbox, but I had a PS4. And so anyways, I ended up taking the mobile route and using some mobile flight sims in that case. But, you know, if you have an Xbox One or have access to an Xbox One and a flight simulator comes out, no matter where you are in your experience in the flight sim, you're going to get that flight sim. So I think it's going to do well. People are going to play it just to try it. People are going to play it because they weren't able to get X-Plane 11 or P3D. And I think it's going to do well. But only time will tell. I'm excited. The graphics look amazing. My wish right now is that they're gonna incorporate realistic flight dynamics in all these planes. I'm hoping that they have third-party support and they don't just block it down, put a wall up, and only allow themselves to push out DLC, but allow other third-party developers to push it out. Because if they don't do that, this thing's not gonna last very long. If they try to make this as like an arcade sim or more towards them rather than realism and kick out the third-party people, this game will probably last max 6 months and it'll die out. That's my opinion. And people are gonna go right back to X-Plane 11, right back to P3D, and keep doing what they're doing. And then the arcade people will even go away because the arcade people have a short, you know, they don't keep playing the same game all the time. You know, they go from one game to the next one. That's how that culture is. You know what I mean? So you do one game, you play that game, you enjoy that game, you play the heck out of that game, and then you leave. Play something else that comes out that has a hype around it. So that's what I think. Let me know what your thoughts are. Trailer looks amazing, but again, we can't judge it by what we see in the trailer because they're only showing their good side. But anyways, guys, I'm excited. I hope you are too. Stay tuned. Your boy Blue. Remember, you got 3 choices. Give up, give in, give it all you got. Peace, love, and God bless you. See you guys next time, next video. Peace.